First, could you just tell me a bit about yourself?
My
Yeah.
you need my name, right?
Yes.
My name is John Keefe, and I grew up in Minnesota, lovely state that has plenty of snow in the wintertime. And I'm the youngest of 8. I have 5 older sisters and 2 older brothers. So being the youngest of 8, I didn't have my own bicycle until I was 50. I went to high school there, I went to college there, and then I joined a company out of Chicago. And it's called Combined International. Actually, I started in San Francisco with the company. California, lived there for a few years. And then moved to Chicago, which was an international office for the company. And after a couple of years, then I opened an office back in Minnesota.
Just tell me your likes, your dislikes, what you do, your pastimes.
Oh, okay. I basically enjoy, because of what I've learned over there, is a positive mental attitude and the thinking of positive. It's a philosophy. When you have a good understanding of the PMA philosophy, you are able to see the pluses in any given situation. You can always find the best in every person. And so I actually enjoy people who are positive and happy and have goals. So that's had a big impact in my life, positive thinking. And what I like to do, I used to run a lot. I ran several marathons, and because of a knee injury, I now cycle once in a while. But I miss that, and I still work out, health club. And my wife and I, we've taken cycling trips to Europe. We've been to Italy, Ireland. A very interesting trip was to Normandy, France. A cousin who was much older than I, that I never knew, had finished med school and went into World War II. And he landed on the beaches at Normandy, and he lost his life there as a doctor. And he is buried in Normandy at the American Cemetery, which is a beautiful place, and if you ever have a chance, try to go to Normandy. The American Cemetery there is breathtaking.
So do you have any tips for college life? Come on, I know you know some fun things to do. Some tips, some ways to study.
Yes.
Anything.
Okay, one tip is that you just make sure the boys respect you. Okay? I only know girls in my family. I have 5 older sisters, and my dad was very adamant that we respect the girls. And if they don't, you know what to do. As I used to tell my daughters, don't put up with baloney.
Don't put up with baloney.
Okay?
Could you say that to the camera? Don't put up with baloney.
Don't put up with baloney. Okay? Yeah. But you've got good study habits. I think the main thing is that you keep your goal in front of what you want, and it may not be definite now, and that's okay. You keep thinking, you're reading, praying, asking questions. I think what happens sometimes to a lot of young students out of high school and college, they feel they have to go to a certain place, study something, when you shouldn't put that pressure on yourself. I think I would look for a way to exercise, and I think exercise is very good for you mentally, physically, spiritually. Anyway, I experienced that as a marathon runner. I ran 17 altogether, and I miss it. So now I bike like your dad.
Yeah. So, what aren't we taught in school? That we should know.
I have you had many people talk to you about thinking positive and looking for the good in people or any given situation?
Well, in school we just study the books. We
Right.
want to know something outside the books, like life tips. So we already have stay positive, keep your eye on the goal.
Yeah.
What else is there?
I think it's very important is learning to be a good listener. It took me a long time. It may sound simple, but it really isn't that difficult. I learned not that many years ago from a person who is a headhunter. And I worked with him on a few cases on headhunting. And I really saw there how important it is to really listen. And as a well-known businessman that I knew once, he would always say, to listen does not necessarily mean to hear. So I think it's one big thing is I didn't think about that when I was in high school or college about listening. Because sometimes we just listen to what we want to listen to, and that's probably not good. Do not be afraid to build yourself up and thank God for what you have, not what you don't have, and capitalize on opportunities that are positive and healthy and good.
So, do you have any other tips for life? Any other random tips that can be like, what's a good road trip snack, or
A good road trip?
Yeah. Just any tips that you have?
I think you should. Now I'm sure you're thinking of school, and you're not thinking of taking a vacation to Normandy, France, or cycling in the Rocky Mountains. But I think you should plan free time that's productive. I know I've got a granddaughter and a grandson. They set up a church trip for them in high school. Well, they're still in high school, and they were not for it at all. Totally against it. My grandson said, "I'm not getting on that bus." Because he's going from Boston to Georgia. Well, anyway, he got on the bus, and now he goes back every year, and his younger sister goes. So it's